Alright, hello. This is Prosciutto Man again. I am doing a tutorial on opening cutscenes because my last cutscene tutorial was dog shit. Um, I made it in my shitty apartment with a bunch of reverb and I was really quiet and shit. So this will be kind of a refresher for the cutscene tutorial that I was talking about earlier, but it'll also be a tutorial for opening cutscenes because opening cutscenes they're another thing that I see a lot of people struggle with RPGMaker, and I want to make a tutorial for it because they're a pain in the ass to understand how to make, but when you understand how to make them, they become very easy, just like with cutscenes. So here we go. This is a project I've been working on, by the way, with Palm, Dry, and Topple called Giggleforce. And so I'd like to walk you through what I'm doing with it and how the game is working. So we have a naming screen. We have these four maps are all for an opening cutscene. And then we have, a little cutscene that plays after that. I'm not going to show you the entire thing. I'll just show you what I'm comfortable showing you because this game, I'm still working on it and a lot of it is subject to change and I do want it to release someday. So I'll show you, I guess, a little bit. I'll play test here. Or no, I don't have it. I have it set to the debugger, so this will actually give me the opportunity to talk about some things. So we're going to go to Tools, Database. So we have Toto. This is a character that I'm using for debugging. This, which is basically just a line that says past this point is certain shit. Your character, party members, and then this will also get into how to call names and variables. So we have, for this game it asks what your name is, which your name is blank. It asks for what your favorite food is, which is bourguignon at the default. It asks what your greatest fear is, which is defaulted as pedophiles. It has what your social security number is, which I think is a funny gag. This will probably spoil some of the game, but whatever the fuck. I don't really care. Yeah. So we have this naming screen. This is an Earthbound style naming screen. This will hopefully actually help you out with that too, because this it's a little tedious to get working. I'll say that much. So what we'll notice first and foremost, we'll go to System, is the party member 1. We have Guy, Danny, Jeffrey, Jiggy. These are the party members, by the way. And then we have this. So this is the default character. And why is that? It's because we have his graphics set to a blank. We have his graphics set to nothing. In RPG Maker, when you start as a character, even if you have a set to fully transparent automatically happen, it'll take like a few frames for it to register that command happening. So I personally, you can do it however you want. I think off does it in a way where it sets the character's transparency, at the beginning. But I personally like to set the character set as completely blank and the character graphic is completely blank. That way you don't have anything that might fuck up your immersion or whatever. It might like make an artifact basically when you're starting the game, because players will notice, in my opinion. So let's go back to database, and you'll notice that party member 1 is this blank. As I said, it's this blank character nickname. This will never appear in the fucking game itself. This is just for my personal reference. So let's go ahead and create a player starting event, and as you will remember, the character starting event is just setting where you will start. So I'll save that. How the fuck do I get out of full screen? Because I'm worried there we go. This might not work. Start. So we'll do this. This is work in progress, by the way. All right, so as you saw there, there's a combination of things. There's characters walking, which is fucking difficult to get working. There's characters walking, there's dialogue, and then there's a naming screen, which is really fucking hard to do. And then there's graphics, obviously, too, that are appearing when I did the little Earthbound, like, title crawl thing. So, how does this all work? Well, we're going to wait. We're going to play a sound effect. And I've learned to do this recently because in Where the Moon Goes at Night, I did this with switches, which is a very inefficient and not time consuming, but it's like a very inefficient way of organizing your game so that it makes it so that you have more switches than you need. Variables can solve that problem if you have a multi-step thing that happens in a linear sequence, or even non-linear sometimes, depending on how things work. You want to use variables, and then you can increase the variables. So what are these variables doing? Well, let's see. So prelude is equal to 1. He's just going to be standing there. When prelude is equal to 2, and then the prelude universal is on. Prelude universal is a debugging switch that I have to make sure that things run smoothly. So it's going to have, when this prelude is equal to 2, he's going to basically look up. Here we go. Then when it's equal to 2, without that switch on, it's going to, so now I remember what exactly it's for. So prelude is equal to 2. This is just his move route. He's just going to move. Then when prelude universal is on, let's look at this. So it's turning on this switch 01. That switch 01 is the prelude universal switch, which means basically it's the universal switch to tell him, hey, this prelude segment is done. Or this particular segment during the prelude is done. It gets turned on and turned off quite a few times. I'm very proud of it code-wise, personally. Prelude 3, this is when he collapses, right? You look here, prelude is 1, prelude is 2, prelude is 3, right? Then it plays this Earth sound. I'm probably going to replace this with a custom sound effect. But basically, he's talking. So you start out, he's talking. He's, at this point right here, he starts walking up to the desk. Thanks for coming on such short notice. Prelude 2, or no, he appears. Prelude 2, he starts walking. It waits 3 seconds because it's around the amount of time that it takes for it to basically happen. That's why there's all those waits in there, because that's, in his walk event, rather, because it's waiting basically for the walk animation to be done, essentially. Or it's waiting for this wait event to be finished. Because I don't know exactly what the conversion is, but wait is a wait of a certain quantity of frames. Text, here's the text. Then there's a wait, because I like to do fucking dramatic pauses for no goddamn reason. Then he's talking. Wait 2 seconds, then he collapses. Prelude 3 happens. Looks like a fucking little derp face from 2008, but whatever. You collapse. Then it starts playing this opening theme, this flying man from Earthbound that I have as a placeholder. It takes you to this blackout screen. So this blackout screen, this is something I'm starting to really enjoy using a lot. Then it's going to show this picture, title cards 1. So title cards 1 is this title card. Then there's this title card. So this is like a parody of Earthbound Beginnings opening, basically. But yeah, nothing else really happens. It's doing that, waiting, and then... So here we go, Setups Valley cutscene. So this is the cutscene with this car. So you might be wondering, how the fuck do you get this car event to work? This seems very hard, because it is really hard. So it's setting the move route to the player. So the player is a distinct entity from this ambulance that I have right here. This ambulance and the player are two very different things. I'll probably smooth it out later and make it like actually come to a more proper stop where it like slows down, but whatever. So it's setting the move route. The player is moving right, and then it's setting the switch when the player is done moving right. So we have these blockades here to prevent the player from moving beyond where we basically want them to see. The player, I believe, spawns right here and then moves all the way over here. That gives the illusion of like camera depth, basically. And then we have this ambulance that has a custom move route. So let's look at the custom move route. It just moves right. That's all it does. Because if I set it to, the horizontal, it would go to here and then, or it would touch this, then start going all the way back, which we don't want because it will look bad. Cutscene hallway. This one, super work in progress. I'm not very happy with how it looks right now, but whatever. So what this is doing is it's setting, this is again basically a camera event. It's following the player as the player goes to the left, turning a switch on, and then showing you the logo. Basically that's it. So it's tinting the screen white. I'm just doing that because I like the transition better. Waiting a second. And then, so this logo final is white, has a white background. That way it's easier for me to make the transition from this hospital scene to that logo. Then it's tinting the screen back, basically, but you don't notice that because the picture's up there. Then it's waiting a second, and then it waits for you to do a key input. I'll probably remove that because that's arbitrary and that's like unnecessary. It's waiting for a key input. This is something you can do with your games. Basically, it just says like if an event happens, it's for shit like this, basically, where it wants you to press a button for you to progress with something. Off uses it a lot. If you want like a contemporary example. And then it's fading out the background music. It's tinting the screen back to that white. Then it's waiting and erasing the picture and sending you to the naming screen. It looks, hopefully you'll agree, kind of seamless when it's all like stitched back and back together, right? But yeah, I feel like that's a pretty nice way of doing it. And then you have this same thing as before. It's just moving left, and then when the prelude universal is on, it stops moving. This gives it the illusion of like that it's a sprite that's just moving. I'm probably gonna adjust this a lot to be quite blunt with you, but it gives the illusion that it's excuse me. It gives the illusion that it's moving and then it's stopping at a certain point, which I don't have done on the ambulance, but whatever. All right, then we're gonna go back to, so this opening map is one of the debug rooms. This was just for testing tests. Then we go to the naming screen. The naming screen is really fun because I can show you guys basically how to call character event names. Okay, so name input processing. Name input processing and name calling is fucking hard. It requires commands that are a little more advanced than I think most people are used to, but basically it's easy once you get the hang of it. This is why a lot of RPGMaker games use characters with predefined names, or maybe it's not, maybe it's artistic choice. I don't know, maybe that's just how I choose to see it, but this is why a lot of RPGMaker games tend to use pre-named protagonists, because it's a pain in the ass to have to account for a bunch of different player names. But I digress. So what's happening here? So firstly, it's saying welcome to Giggleforce. What's your name? Your name input is processed. It's playing this soundbite. I'm probably going to keep this because it's a funny little Earthbound parody. It's playing that sound effect. And then it's saying hello. And then, as we saw before, opening cutscene +1. This is going to affect... it's also kind of a thing. Yeah. Kind of way to prevent sequence breaking. But whatever. Maybe you want sequence breaking in your game. I don't know. In which case, you're probably better off using switches. So we have this guy. He has a very fast movement speed, obviously 4 times faster, frequency of 8, custom move route. basically what it's doing is it's moving him down, right? So you saw in that opening he goes from here down to here. It was also in regards to the background, that was trial and error. It's a pain in the ass, but you're gonna have to do it if you want to do that. You could also probably put like graphics here, and then just have a parallax in the back here. But I didn't do that because I'm too retarded to do that. So, OP, Ilsun still off. This was a relic of him having a different name, but so. So this is the switch when he's still, where he just is standing, basically. That will trigger every time his movement route is done. I have this set for all the other characters. Like, he has a Jicky still, which means that he's not supposed to move. And Danny has a Danny still. Jeffrey has a Jeffrey still, etc., etc. The reason that they have different amounts of pages is because they move for different amounts of times. As I said, looks really complicated, and it can be. And it's very time consuming, but I think the result makes pretty nice looking cutscenes. So basically it's saying name your protagonist, name his early game party member, etc., etc. So I'm gonna say quite a lot in this video and in a lot of other videos. So this \n open bracket 8 close bracket. So let's look back at our database. What the \n in brackets 8 is doing is it's saying, I don't know exactly what the terminology and how it works is. I'm not going to bullshit you. But \n basically calls like actor names. Open bracket, close bracket is specifying which one. So if I did open bracket, so let's go into the debug room. Let's go into this opening debug room. Create event. Let's set the player starting back. Let's create an event. Or actually, I can just show you because there's quite a few of them in this room. So this is a temporary NPC. This is like the Mr. Saturn, basically, of this game. So he's saying we're getting mighty quirky today, aren't we? \n open close bracket 8. This will not say anything. It will just say we're getting mighty quirky today, aren't we? Question mark. This is because I have it set to not or to just be nothing by default, so they will have a blank space there. Let's find another one that doesn't have. Okay, N10, and then so that I can see myself, I'm gonna set my party member 1 to guy. Awesome. So let's save. Why the fuck does it keep doing this? Thank you. Start. We're in the debug room. So, I think that people are too negative about pedophiles. Pedophiles is a national treasure, I say. So, as you see, right, we have our default name of the player's greatest fear is pedophiles. So, it will call forth that pedophiles word. It's basically a way of saving words that the player inputs. That's how I use it anyways. If I were to guess, I would say the Smile Cartel has smuggled over 0 drugs through this town. So that's the Social Security. It's calling the Social Security card tracker, basically, that we put in there. Yeah, so we'll talk to some more characters. So, killer of the cultist evil, guy. I'm opposing the top evil pedophile forces. I must join you to conquer the top evil. Maybe then Jicky can become courage. Jicky has joined you. So, as you see, he's calling multiple names. You can do that too. I don't know why you would doubt that you can do that, because it's calling 3 different things. Right? Your Honor, the courts have assaulted blah 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 blah. It's calling a bunch of names, basically, is the point. But I feel like that's it. That's all that I really wanted to cover in this video. So, yeah, thanks for watching. If you have any more questions about RPG Maker 2003 or any more videos you think that I should make, because I really enjoy making these. I think it's helping a lot of people, as I've noticed, to get into the software, which is cool. But if you have anything that you are wondering about and you'd like me to do an in-depth tutorial on, just comment it below. Oh, that reminds me. Someone was asking about custom battle systems. You can't do those in 2003. 2003, for as limitless-ish as it is, it's very, I don't want to say it's impossible, because nothing's really impossible. It's not very, well, it isn't really possible to do a custom battle system without doing a overhaul to the code or installing like mods. I'm trying to show you what you can do with vanilla RPGMaker. There's probably someone, or maybe there isn't, whatever. There's probably other people that have done videos on how you can like mod it to have different battle systems, but I mean, probably the most you can do is what I did with like Where the Moon Goes at Night or something. Actually, no, I'll show you an event. This is kind of troops. Troops is basically what happens when you do things. So I'm spoiling kind of the game here a little bit. So nightclub. This is the nightclub area. That's why I'm calling it like that. So prostitutes. Where do I have it? Okay, so I have this switch called Battle Randomness. I'm not going to spoil what it's for. I will just say it is a mechanic in this game that you might not... actually, it's written right there. It's a novelty singing bass that you can pull out and it'll do shit. So, the novelty singing bass. He is basically just an excuse for me to try out battle RNG. But my experiments with it have been pretty fun so far, and I'm kind of enjoying it, so whatever. I have him do different things depending on what happens. Actually, this probably isn't a good example because it's not finished. Is this one finished? Yeah, this one is finished. Jesus Wannabe is the only finished one in this initial list of stuff. The novelty singing bass began singing about atheism. So then it will make this character, this enemy, sad. And then it'll play a death sound effect. The death sound, well, let me play the death sound effect for you. That's just like a status effect, basically. The novelty singing bass tore up a nearby Bible. It'll make him sad again. So, novelty singing bass took out some nails and a hammer. Critical hit. Minus 90%. So this is basically enemy HP. Enemy HP can be done in either percent or in a number. So, or in a variable. You can call variables too. It's pretty cool. The novelty singing bass drains some of the Jesus Wannabe's blood and asks you to drink it. It will. That's another one where it's draining HP. Lost a little blood. Your party was fully healed. Your party became drunk. So you can add status effects. You can do shit like that. I mean, it's not super complicated. It's like basically Space Funeral, right? If you've played Space Funeral, you'll know that within Space Funeral, there is a command called Mystery. And if you select Mystery, a bunch of different things can happen, depending on what RNG you get. This is basically that, right? So your party becomes drunk from drinking the wine of Christ or whatever. I don't fucking know why. I'm working on a game now as well. Gate to Hades. That is a bunch of fucking themes from when I was a Mormon. I don't fucking know why this shit keeps happening in my games. But maybe I'm talking too much. Whatever. So he can criticize religion. You feel pander to basically nothing. He can claim to celebrate Kwanzaa, make your characters manic, which is basically the equivalent of like confused. He can sing a Christmas carol, fully heal your party. He can do a lot of things, right? He can slap you in the face and tell you should be ashamed of yourself. Strange spell sound effects, your party loses blood. That's the way of calculating HP in this game. I just have like terminology like that. And I've been over that in some other videos, so you can check those out. Yeah. There's not really much else I think I could talk about. I mean, I've covered custom battle systems, as I said, very much impossible unless you know how to do programming. you can do stuff like that novelty singing bass, basically RNG events. And you can like string those together. Beetle Ninja did that too, where it kind of strings together a bunch of different RNG events to make like a pseudo like abilities thing. Which I don't know. Retrospectively, I feel like that didn't really work as well as I wanted it to. But you can do that. You certainly can, and it'll work for what it is. You can just basically do extensions of the default RPGMaker comment, like you can add in dialogue and stuff like that, and basic stuff. But anything more in depth, like doing an entire system, is impossible without making extensive modifications to the game engine. But yeah, I don't really have anything much else to say on the matter. If you guys have questions, please leave them in the comments, and I'll try and address them in another tutorial, because I'm really enjoying doing these. These are really fun for me. But yeah, if you have any questions, just leave them below. And I'm repeating myself too much now. But have a nice day. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. Cheers.